let's find out how carried away we can get with gears. And that's going to be especially fun because we already have $1.6 billion. These mysterious structures now have an explanation. This structure will give you the money once its countdown finishes. That will vary between 35 and 60 minutes of production. Given that we currently make $17 million a second, I think that's worth our while. So let's work our way over in this direction using big gears so we reach there faster. We'll see if we have the torque to actually turn this thing, and we don't. Okay, the load isn't even close, so we need to reorganize everything. We are speeding things up rapidly by here, so by attaching to here, we have things that are very fast but very low torque. But we can be a lot closer if we had just attached to our original gear because there's no reductions here. It's going to be a very confusing day. What's important is we're up to $7.15 billion, and every time we click on this, our torque numbers are going to get a little more in our favor. They're not going to get all the way there, but they're much closer. So what I can do is reduce the speed a little bit. This will increase the torque of this one. And that gets us much closer to where we need to be. So if we do that one more time with the reduction, we can actually do it. We're just under the limit. So this thing is turning. So every time these dials count down, we're going to get a huge amount of money. Not sure if this one counts, but I think after 25 minutes we'll be there. And then this one, 2.5 minutes of your current production every time it turns. It requires 4 torque units. I could definitely start that one moving. I've reduced it one more time and we still don't quite have enough to do this. Luckily by now we have the money to increase our torque just enough, so things are actually moving, albeit this one's quite slow. But the dial's moving and I've got time if you do. The big goal is to get this ginormous one down here to turn. And to be fair, it is turning now just so slowly that we can't even see it. I think it would actually take 1 billion years to make its revolution. In order to make this big thing move, we're going to need a lot of torque upgrades, which means a lot of money. Since this big thing only fabricates really big gears that I don't really want right now, I'm actually going to remove it from the whole equation. Because it's just eating up valuable torque and not really making us any money. We need things like this turning. Okay, I have to look around a little bit. I think it's actually wasteful to do this one right now. It's too much torque for what we get. I need one like this. We'll give 240 minutes of your current production every time it completes a turn, requires 8 torque units. Which, yes, is a lot, but we can certainly do that. Since everything down here is spinning at light speed, they're going to have no torque at all. So I actually extended all the way from up here using all manner of very sketchy and weird gears to fulfill this thing. And now it's happy, and we even got 4 torque to spare. Which made me realize that I probably didn't need the reducer here, and I didn't. So now this thing is turning even quicker, and we've got 2 torque to spare. And it takes 6 minutes to do this, so we're going to make $51 million a second for that duration. Money-wise, I don't really know what that means. I guess we're up to $71 million a second in total, or $14 billion is what we have in the bank. But that can increase our torque probably twice, and then we're basically broke with $3.5 billion. We can definitely spend some money, like increasing our money per turn. That's going to start to add up, but each one of these will actually add quite a bit of our value. I might get like a few $1,000,000 per second out of this. And I'm currently getting 21,400 per click. Every time I upgrade that though, that adds quite a few thousand per click. Oh, and we just got a $5 billion deposit, so let's go ahead and go from 28,000 per click to 103,000 per click. So 10 clicks equals $1 million. Which isn't really that impressive when you think about it, considering how many billions of dollars we're making. But more importantly, it is spinning things quicker. The quicker we spin things, the faster we make all that money. And then while I was sitting here plotting my next move, we somehow made $45 billion. I assume one of our antique clocks touched down again and gave us a whole bunch of money. Also, apparently if I increase my torque up again, it's going to double my income to $142 million a second. I guess it just makes things spin that much faster. So I'm probably going to touch that one more time. Then I'm also going to increase my clicks per second because I'm going to spend all night doing this. Now it's 4 clicks for $1 million. Which, yes, isn't really going to mean a lot value-wise, but look at those things turn. Speaking of turning, these appropriately named cash gears are turning at light speed, so let's go ahead and add a lot of those. So far the ones I've been adding have been giving me quite a bit of earnings, but I think it's going to start being counterproductive because they eat up torque. We can obviously just go ahead and add some torque. That gave us an extra 5 million per second, and so did that. So this is our perfect creation as it stands. And we're going to let it run for 12 hours just like this. We'll see in the morning what lights on fire. One generous nighttime later, we have $4 trillion. It should actually be a lot more than that, but one of the gears jammed and apparently the greasers couldn't reach it. I also added a bunch of this last night because it turned my earnings up to $309 million a second. But I couldn't help but notice this shadowy little weirdo over here only needs 4 torque units. I just hope I have enough money to make my way over there and get that turning. At first I was being sarcastic, and then I realized these do cost $70 billion each. So we're going to go back to these ones and see if that will turn. We are over torque. Probably on account of the big gears. Or the fact that I'm building off the light speed gears. I forgot about that. That's nothing a few giant gears will fix. And we lost some money per second, probably because we put our torque closer to its limit. But it wasn't close enough for my liking, so I made it a little bit quicker here. That way this one turns quicker, because it's not a huge earner, but it is a earner. Even then, I think we can probably make this one go quite quickly. The first thing I'm going to do is add some extra torque, and that's definitely going to add some earnings. So we're going to spend like a lot of money doing that. Not only does that put our earnings back up, it gives us a lot more wiggle room with the torque. So let's see if we can increase the speed one more time. That's a little better. Look at this thing go now. It's only going to take about 20 seconds to do its rotation, and it's going to give you 2.5 minutes worth of earnings, which is about $750 million. The money generated way over here is 8 torque units, 240 minutes worth of income. So I'm hoping I can use one of my little ghost gears that's going to generate torque here. I can slow it down and make it turn this, probably slowly, but I can make it turn. So the first thing we're going to need is a little reduction in speed, probably 2 of these. It's going to turn quite slowly, but it's going to have a lot of torque. I should really start to properly measure these at some point, and it will actually turn that. Well, it's going to take 30 minutes to turn it, but it's going to give me 240 minutes in return, so that's a huge investment. So I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I was actually very precise with this one. Same thing's going to take about 30 minutes, but it's going to give me 240 earnings. Though now that I look at it, this only results in $41 million a second, which is far less than what we actually make. Simply buy more torque will give me more room to play with and give me about $10 million a second in earnings. The more I look around and think about this, the more I think I'm doing this badly wrong. But for now, we're going to build up some money and then we have some fun ideas. A little bit of time and a lot of coffee later, we have $8.9 trillion. Mostly because these just will not run by themselves. They still need me here clicking on them every once in a while. But while I've been sitting here drinking coffee, I came up with a fun idea. This takes 8 torque units to turn. You get 240 minutes of revenue. So let's just redesign everything to make this turn as fast as possible. Then we can extend on from that to make trillions. Don't know if I'm going to regret this, but that's a problem for future me. Surprisingly, our money didn't drop that much from that. If we delete this one, the money probably won't drop a lot either. We're actually making more money now. But this was sort of my theory, that if we could just have a few less things but them spinning faster, we'll make more money. Well, now I feel naked. But we gotta make it all the way to this. These little guys would also like a home again. The quickest way to get there is going to be using the BFGs. It's a little ways to travel, but it's only actually going to take a couple seconds. And considering how long I've been doing this for, I can certainly spare a couple seconds. So if I disconnect directly to it there, it takes about 2 minutes to do this. But we definitely have torque to spare, so let's speed it up. So we'll find out if it's going to turn at this speed. It may or may not, because this is actually going a lot faster. And it does. The current speed is going to be 1 minute and 15 seconds. Back along our chain, we have this generator, which only takes 6 torque units and will give you 30 minutes of production. Pretty sure I can make this one turn. Not quite, we're so close. Actually, if I upgrade the torque once or twice, that will actually turn. Albeit fairly slowly because our load is basically at capacity, but it's still turning. This one's going to be our moneymaker, $137,000 a second currently. But even adding just one of these gears added a lot of money, and especially once we add the money gears. So if we want to pick up a little speed, we just have to put one of those. Then we put the biggest gear we could possibly find for the biggest individual speed increase. Now this thing's going light speed, and this one will be going extra light speed. Not sure what's going to happen. That one's not turning quickly, so this might be about max speed. It feels like it's going pretty quick, and that's producing money pretty routinely, so maybe we should just add a few of these to the outside. What I do know is that I can make these turn really quickly. That's not super hard to do anymore. We just need some good old-fashioned income again though, so we need gears turning as fast as possible. I didn't realize we're already back up to $15 million a second overall. Every time we add these, it adds quite a bit of earnings. Probably because they're all going the speed of light. I just realized there's now a hotkey assigned to these, so I can actually go like this to place them a lot quicker. They're now costing about $20 billion each, so it's time to place a few of a different kind of gear. We're going to do some of the regular variety. We're actually so far away, it doesn't even know where to grab them from at this point, but we're going to go like that, and then we can build our way across the universe really quickly. Now I just need to spend a little bit of time engineering efficient shapes. So after all this effort and remodeling everything, we're actually making less money than before. So I'm going to try deleting this for a second, and that's better. Now we're making more money. This thing just can't be here. So now our little clock box is going to earn us $494 million a second. And we're still going to add just a few more gears. It's starting to eat our money away, but we make that money back pretty quick. And I guess we could take the pieces away from down here. We don't really need this big thing moving anymore. Not until we have a lot more torque, but that can go away. Look at the money jump up. Okay, by removing these other little ones, the money is definitely going up again. So we're going to do that. We're at $1 billion a second. Pretty sure I can also make that number go up a lot by placing the parts I just removed over here where they're going to spin extra quick and make us extra money. That's better. Now we're making $1.17 billion a second. Now if I start clicking, that's going to make it all the better, and this is a lot more reliable of a setup. Now I think we should be able to save up a lot of money. So the little clock mechanism is about to wind down, and that's going to give us a nice jump of money from 81 billion to 144 billion. So time for a little money break, then we're going to come back and really spend. But maybe not before spending $360 billion upgrading our clicking power money, because that's just going to make itself back anyway. We're now up to $1.4 million per click. So you know what, let's do that one more time, 1.85 million per click. We can actually make a lot of money just off rapid clicking. A few minutes and $6 trillion later, I kind of want to see what these weird coffee machines do now. Requires 10 torque units. Pretty sure I can do this the good old-fashioned way of just stacking things the other way around. Turns out it needs all 3 of these spinning to do whatever it is it does. I had to get creative here because whatever I was placing there costs a lot of money. I spent trillions of dollars doing this. Gears and upgrades will have a 9% discount for 60 seconds. This will have a cooldown of 0 seconds. So I guess over time that's just going to level up and give us better and better discounts. This contraption is about to hit 100%, so I think that's going to increase its boost, so it's now 10%. For the amount of work I have to put into this, it's not giving me a very good reward. So I'm going to take all of the pieces off this and go try one of the other contraptions. This one looks a lot more fun. I'm not sure if this is one that I've touched before, but we'll find out very soon. You will receive $0 per gear turn for 60 seconds. This boost will have a cooldown, so you will receive $2.25 million per gear turn for 60 seconds. So to be fair, that is giving me a 10% boost, and we could probably have that one going pretty quick. But we'll move over to this coffee maker and see what that does. They're easy enough to check because I have enough spare torque lying around that I can just straight up activate these. They'll turn faster for 60 seconds. We're about to hit 100%, gears will turn 0.01 times faster. Well, we're at 0.13 turns a second, if I'm understanding that correctly. We're at 0.15, so it's turning considerably faster, like 10%. That did actually put the earnings up, so if you were to put these all in unison and let them really build up, you can actually make some serious money. Which brings us to this one, which needs 10 torque. And it gives us $B equals question marks. Structures will apply 9% less torque for 60 seconds. I don't even need to see that in action. I don't really want that. Let's now take our $7 trillion and have a fresh start. Because I still really want to see what it's going to take to turn this big one and how quickly we can turn it. So we'll quickly work our way straight down there and see what kind of torque we can apply. So you need 250 to be able to move it. We currently have 18. Pretty sure that's not going to take more than a few little reductions to work its magic. 2 reductions knocked it down to 62, so 1 more will probably do it. Nope, we're still going to need 1 more, and that's a shame because this isn't exactly going at light speed. But it is moving. You can actually see the big one moving for the first time ever. It's not quick, but it's moving. So while that's happening, maybe we can try and make ourselves some Big Mama gears. It only takes 5 torque units to make this thing move, and once we make the gears, I'm pretty sure they're free to place. So when reduced, I'm actually able to turn this thing. I don't know if it's going to be super quick. I've also just realized something maybe really dumb, but the size of the gears in relation to each other are going to make a difference. Like, we're generating torque by going from small to big, I think. So I think if I just build all the way down here with a straight 1-to-1 ratio torque and use a Big Mama gear, it's actually only 45 out of 18 and there's no reduction. Putting a single reduction there has it almost good enough, and that would be turning at a pretty good speed. Using the same principle of going from a small gear to an enormous gear, I can actually just straight up attach to this thing, and now it only takes 10 minutes to make a Mama gear. And if I do this and make it spin even faster, it still works actually, and it only takes 5 minutes now. And I can further reduce that to about 3 minutes. And I can still cut that in half, 90 seconds to do this. And I've got torque to spare. So I can see why these are so good. So we're going to need a lot of these. So for a little while, I'm just going to collect Mama Gears. Plus our ascension points are actually building up. We're getting 0.02 ascension points a minute. I didn't know I could click on this. But I'm pretty sure that spinning this big guy at the bottom is exactly how we get the ascension points. Things got a little screwy, but we now have almost 1 ascension point and 23 Mama Gears. But given how big these are, I want to see if we can make an actual light speed turn. So we just need a little bit of room to play with. Then every time we go small to big, we're going to get a big increase in speed. You can already see the difference of one of these. The regular ones are spinning this fast. This one's going much quicker. So this thing's going much quicker again. And quicker again, and we can do this 22 more times. I don't know at which point the game is just going to stop allowing me to do this or break or something, but we're going to find out. They are starting to look slightly different in their movement. This one was starting to stutter and look like a helicopter, but this one should be going like a million times faster again. This one's not moving at all, so maybe we found the max number we can do. But a good way to test how fast this is going is to put one of those on there, and it's only giving a readout once in a while, but I feel like it's going faster than it looks. But it's a little bit hard to say. I'm not sure if each one of these actually increases in speed, because by the time we get to the end of this, that thing would be going light speed. And one like this is giving a lot more readouts for money than the one up here. That makes me think this one is actually somehow spinning faster. Well, presumably this thing is moving at light speed, and this thing is like light speed and a half. And for our 1 ascension point, we'll get a torque upgrade of 0.45. The problem is we're back to making $1 per spin again, so it's going to be a minute before we're able to make it back.